In Activity 6, Using a Thermometer, students investigate how a thermometer works and learn how to use one to measure temperature. First, they observe the reaction of the liquid in a thermometer stem to warm and cold water. Then, students relate the level of liquid in a thermometer stem to the numbers on a thermometer back and identify temperature as the level at which the red liquid in the stem stops moving. You will need the following materials from the kit: Activity Sheet 6, 1-ounce plastic cups, heavy-duty plastic spoons, thermometer backs, thermometer stems, plain tumblers, 6 pails, and a Celsius thermometer for a demonstration. You will also need to provide crushed ice, 2 long-handled ladles, paper towels, and tap water. To prepare for this activity, make a copy of Activity Sheet 6 for each student. Obtain or prepare enough crushed ice to make 3 pails of ice water, adding just enough cold tap water to cover the ice. Set up a distribution station with 3 pails of ice water, 3 pails of warm water, and 2 long-handled ladles. Make sure to keep paper towels handy to clean up spills. Each team of 2 will need 2 1-ounce plastic cups, a spoon, 2 thermometer stems, 2 thermometer backs, and 2 tumblers. To begin the activity, show students a Celsius thermometer and ask, "What do we use a thermometer for?" The students may know that it is used to find out how hot or cold something is. Explain to the class that a thermometer is an instrument for measuring temperature in degrees on a scale, and that temperature is the measurement of how hot or cold something is. In this activity, students will investigate how a thermometer works. Give each student a copy of Activity Sheet 6 and distribute the materials to each team. Show students the distribution station with pails of water and have each team use the ladles to fill 1 tumbler half full with ice water and the other half full with warm water. Note that you may want to have students wrap a paper towel around each tumbler as they carry it back to their desks. Instruct students to place a thermometer stem, bulb down, into each tumbler and watch what happens to the red liquid. Have students record their observations on the activity sheet. Next, ask students what happened to the red liquid in the thermometer when it came in contact with the warm water. What happened in the cold water? The students should observe that the red liquid went up in the warm water and down in the cold water. After thermometers have been in the liquid for a few minutes, ask students to observe what happened to the liquid. They should have noticed that the liquid stops moving. Ask students, "Why do you think the liquid stops moving?" Lead students to conclude that the thermometer liquid stops when it reaches the same temperature as the liquid it's in. Next, give each team 2 thermometer backs. Ask students, "What do you think the lines and numbers represent?" Explain to the class that degrees Celsius is a unit in a scale of temperature and that each number on the thermometer back represents 10 units of temperature on the Celsius scale. Then write 0 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius on the board and tell students that 0 degrees Celsius is the temperature at which ice melts and that 100 degrees Celsius is the temperature at which water boils. Instruct students to place the frosted edge of the stem in the groove and snap the thermometer gently into place, with the bulb extending about 1 centimeter from the bottom. Explain that the number at which the red line stops is the temperature of the liquid. Have students observe and record the temperatures of the 2 liquids in their tumblers. Instruct students to go to the distribution station and fill 1 1-ounce plastic cup with warm water and another plastic cup with ice water. Have students put the ice water into the tumbler of warm water and stir. Tell them to observe what happens to the red liquid and to the temperature, and to record their observations on the activity sheet. Then instruct students to pour the warm water from the other 1-ounce plastic cup into the tumbler of ice water, stir, and again observe what happens to the red liquid and the temperature. Have them record their observations on the activity sheet. After students have recorded their observations, ask, "What happened to the red liquid when ice water was added to warm water?" Students should say that the red liquid went down at first and then stopped. Therefore, the temperature went down. Lead students to understand that when something is cooled to a certain point, the temperature goes down and becomes stable. Then ask, "What happened to the red liquid when warm water was added to ice water?" Students should respond that the liquid went up at first, then stopped. Therefore, the temperature went up. Further explain when something is warmed to a certain point, the temperature goes up and becomes stable. Make sure that the students understand that when the liquid in the thermometer stem stops moving, they are measuring the temperature of the material that surrounds the thermometer stem. Finally, explain that it is actually the rounded bottom of the thermometer stem that measures the temperature of the material it is in. Remind students that they should, therefore, always place this rounded end into the material whose temperature they are trying to measure. To conclude the activity, pour out the water and ice and allow everything to dry. Remove the thermometer backs from the stems and return all materials to the kit. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science Reader, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.